1, 2, 12, 1. When? What article this means? What article did we finish? Or was the last article? 12? Okay. 1, 3, 2. This one? This one? Yes, sir. We finished here. So we start here. Okay, we start here. Okay? Okay, so 1301 says conventional subrogation of a third person required to consent of original partners. Okay? 1302. In these particular cases, di ba sabi natin, legal subrogation takes place by operation of law, which means the law says that if this happens, the third person who pays automatically gets subrogated the right of creditor. Okay? So example, when creditor pays another creditor who is prepared even without the debtor's knowledge. Ayan. Okay. In cases of insolvency, more often than not, a person who is insolvent goes to the SEC and declares insolvency. And then insolvency proceeding happens. Which means what happens is the SEC will appoint a receiver. Sabihin sa receiver, okay? We will liquidate your assets, pay off all your debts. There is a priority of payment. There is a priority of payment. Can you guess who gets paid first? Huh? Who gets paid first? Diba? Investors get paid last. But the owners get paid last. Okay? Who's the first to get paid? Somebody says, I cannot pay all my debts. I'm declaring bankruptcy. So the SEC would say, okay, receiver, please liquidate all his assets and pay all his creditors. Okay? Number one priority to be paid would be, are you aware who would be the first to be paid? Huh? No. Number one to be paid, government. Any unpaid taxes, any fines, any fees, government imposed fees gets paid first. Second, who gets paid next? Employees. Employees. Number three, secured creditors. Who are secured creditors? Creditors with collaterals. Number four, long-term debts. Long-term debts. Number five, unsecured debts. Number six, all other debtors. Yun ang order of payment yan, ng bayaran. Okay? Now, this is the problem. If you happen to be part of the all other debtors, all other creditors, you think you would be paid?
No.
Diba? Most likely you will not be paid. Bakit? Mauubos na yung pera dun sa mga nasa itaas bago pa ako mabayaran. Right? So how do you get some chance of getting paid? How do you get some chance of getting paid? Do you look for somebody with a higher priority of debt? Tell the person, huwag ka nang maghabol. Ito na ang bayad sa utang mo. But you will buy his share. Buy his debt so that from lowest position, you get elevated to a higher position of preference. Kuha? Kuha? Okay, question. Sino sa inyo nanood ng Rise of Skywalker? Did anybody watch Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker? How long was the line?
2 hours and
How long was the line?
2 hours and
Huh?
2 hours and
No, not how long was the movie. How long was the line to get the ticket? Huh? Very low. How do you get, if you happen to be at the last of the line, do you think you would get in? No.
No.
Likely. Ba?
Maybe.
Likely. So how do you ensure that you get in?
Go earlier.
Huh?
You go earlier.
No, the line's already there. You cannot go earlier. You're already on the last of the line. How do you ensure that you get in?
Bribe the person in front of you.
You start looking at somebody in front, diba? And say, would you like, I will give you this money. Just let me stay there. Diba? I'll take over your line. How much is the ticket? 500? I will pay you 1,000. Diba? 1,000. Just let me take your space. Most likely, if the person is mercenary and not much of a Star Wars fan, he would say, sure. Diba? What happened? You actually paid someone who is more preferred than you because he is farther along the line than you are. Kuha? Ganon din ang ginagawa ng mga creditors para sila mabayaran. I will pay a debt which is more preferred. And then, I get all the rights of the preferred debtor. The preferred creditor. Kuha? More often than not, ang kinukuha niya dito, yung secured. Bakit may collateral? Pwede kong benta yung collateral. To pay all the debts owing to. Kuha? Kuha? That is legal subrogation. Two, when a third person not interested in the obligation pays with the express or tacit approval of the debtor, legal subrogation. Diba? Because the debtor agreed. Automatic, he becomes subrogated the rights of the creditor. Kuha? Kuha? Number three, when, even without the knowledge of the debtor, a person interested in fulfilling the obligation pays without prejudice to the effects of confusion as to the latter share. What does that mean? Best example, A, B, C, jointly and severally promises to pay X, the sum of 90,000 pesos. Ha? Kuha? Secured by, sabihin natin, 50-inch LED TV. Smart TV. Diba? Okay? Yun ang collateral. Okay? C pays X. C pays X. Is the obligation extinguished? Is the obligation extinguished? C pays X. Is the obligation extinguished?
Is it full amount?
Answer, yes. Why? Solidary, di ba?
If it's
Any
full amount,
solidary
yes.
debtor can extinguish the entire obligation. C paid X. What is C entitled to? Diba? Run after A and B for their share in the obligations. Right? Joint solidarity. Right? But because he is interested in the obligation, he not only gets right of reimbursement, he can actually be subrogated the right of X. Meaning, the smart TV goes to C as collateral. Diba? It goes to C as collateral. Kuha? That's the third example. Question, 1202. 1302. 1302. 1303. 1303. Subrogation transfers to the person subrogated the credit with all the rights thereto appertaining either against debtor or against third persons, the guarantor or possessors of mortgages, subject to stipulation in a conventional subrogation. Diba sinasabi natin, if a third party pays with the consent of the debtor, third party steps into the shoes of creditor and acquires all the rights of a creditor. Subrogation. Kuha? Kuha? 1304, a creditor to whom partial payment has been made may exercise his right for the remainder. And he shall be preferred to the person who has been subrogated in his place in virtue of partial payment of the same credit. Ano yung sabihin niya? Okay? Sabihin natin, may raffle sa Lasal. Okay, nagkaroon ng raffle sa Lasal. You won a 12-course. Sino yung check us? how many cores is a laureate? The Chinese. Do you know what's a laureate? Are you aware of what a laureate is? Sino ang Chinese? The Chinese. Mga Chinese. What's a laureate?
Joking.
So you. What's a laureate? Are you what's a laureate?
The food?
Huh?
Sorry.
It's not the food. It's actually the feast.
Okay.
When you say a laureate,
I get it
I'm
now.
inviting you to a laureate. It's a meal composed of, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 12 course meal. Basta kakain kayo, bilog na may lazy Susan, bagsak lang ng bagsak ng pagkain.
Not sure why.
Basta 10. Tama? 10 course meal. It's a 10 course meal, including dessert. Which is usually almond jelly and almond jelly and light cheese. Diba? How do I know? I grew up in Chinese food. Grew up in Chinese food. Our favorite restaurant was Toho Restaurant in Binondo. Okay, Tepid Pit. Okay? So anyway, laureate. Okay? So, you were going to have a 10-course meal. Babagsak sa iyo ang ulam unti-unti. The sad part about it, the second to the last dish that will be given to you is rice. That much I don't understand. Hindi pala, sa Chinese, ang pinakahuling binababa sa kainan, yung kanin.
Kanin kasi pakulang.
Like, what's up with
Oh,
that?
yang chow. Yang chow kasi. Kaya lang, ubos na lahat yung ulam, wala ka pang kanin. So, kakainin mo yung kanin lang. Diba? So, binaba rin namin yun. Anyway, so, dumating ka, 12-course meal. Upo ka, kain ka na ng first course. Diba? All of a sudden, tumawag ang department head nyo. Oy, mag-report ka sa Lasal now. Your grade hangs on the balance. Question, did you finish eating? Most likely na. Most likely na. Choice of laureate or grade? Most likely grade na rin yung gagawin. Okay? So, tumayo ka. Sabi mo dun sa friend mo, tap out ako. Take over. Ikaw na magkompleto nung kain. Pwede? Yes.
Yeah.
Subrogation.
Okay.
Right? You have subrogated the rights of the creditor. Pwede na siyang umubos. So, takbo ka. Nung pababa ka, biglang tumawag ulit yung department head. Oh, sorry, wrong person. Big mistake. You're not the one whose grade is on the line. Oh, what do you do? Babalik ka ulit doon. Pwede ba nang sabihin, excuse me, I'm already seated on your chair. Subrogated na siya. Pwede mo ba siyang paalisin? Diba?
Partially
Ilipat
naman.
mo na sa kanya, di ba? Yes, but because nasimulan mo na, kahit na subrogated siya, alis dyan. Nauna na ako. Diba? Creditor to whom partial payment has been made. Nakakain ka na. Kapag partial payment na sa iyo ang restaurant. Diba? May exercise rights for the remainder, whatever is left. Even though there is a person subrogated to the rights of the creditor. Kuha? And he would be more preferred than the subrogated creditor. Kuha? Kuha? 1304. That is, that's it. Subrogation. So, midterms is next Thursday. So, what do we do from now till next Thursday?
Relax.
Yun nga. Now's your turn. Now's your turn. My turn to answer question. Any questions? Yes. Good question.
Sir, will you give us answers to the modified true or false? Sir, will you give us answers to the modified true?
No.
Okay.
Yun nga ang tinatanong niya eh. No. It's up to you to find out what is the correct answer. Then ask. Then ask. Then I will explain.
Pa-check.
But at least, give it a try. Kayo naman eh. Bako.
Sir, we got some problems.
Ano ang mga list of particles na pinamememorize ko?
Oh, that. No.
And definition, definition. Those are the things, those are the memorizable things. Diba? Kaya yan may enumeration and definition. Those are the things that you need to memorize. No.
Were you able to take a shot?
You don't have to pay.
Okay, yeah. Wait, why is everyone taking a shot?
What's confusion? What?
Oh, it's okay. Okay, good. I thought it's not maybe it's not there also, and then we went to a shot. Look, everyone pull up their phones.
Diba? When the character of both debtor and creditor with respect to the same obligation is merged in one person. Confusion. Diba? Oh.
Ano yung
What
confusion?
are the requisites for confusion? You must be principal, debtor, and creditor in the same obligation.
Okay. Memorization.
Take note, yan yung sa slide na to. Meron pa yung mga slide na. Please. Essentially, everything that's important is here in the study guide. Okay. Question: how do you answer problems? How do you answer? Okay, let's look at it. How that? What makes oblicon hard? Diba sana si Itsan? I'm telling you now, obligations and contracts is hard.
Then
It's not rocket science.
it's the amount of content.
In fact, you actually know more about obligations and contracts than you think you do. Diba?
Yeah.
Why? When I give you a question, you know the answer. Why? I don't know.
You just feel it.
I know it's this answer. Diba? If
Instinct.
your friend is late for an important meeting, can you get mad at the person?
Yes.
Can you get mad at the person?
Yes.
If you have an important meeting, you have to be here at this time. He comes in late. Can you get mad?
Yes.
Pwede mo bang hindi pansinin?
No. Yes.
Why?
Because you're friend.
Why? In delay. Diba? And in all instances where there is fraud, negligence, delay, or contravention of the terms of the agreement, you are entitled to damage. Right?
Yeah.
That's why you are entitled to get mad at the person. Why? Because he is in delay. But there was no demand. Yes, but time is of the essence. And you made it clear, we have an important meeting. Come here. This time. So, hindi mo lang ma-explain bakit. Why am I entitled to get mad at him? Because he's in delay. Okay. So it's more a question of how to explain something in legal terms. Example. What else makes obligations and contracts difficult? Sad part about it, I hope it does not apply to you, but then again, I think it might. Okay? This morning, I read in the newspaper, the Secretary of Education, Culture and Sports, Department of Education, Culture and Sports, stated that children can read. That's not a problem. It's reading comprehension that's the problem. Can they understand what they read? Okay? That being the case, having said that, let's go here. If a thing is lost in the possession of the debtor, loss cannot be presumed to have been lost without the fault of the debtor because of the presumption of innocence unless proven otherwise. True, false.
Right.
If a thing is lost in the possession of the debtor, loss cannot be presumed to have been lost with the fault of the debtor because of the presumption of innocence, unless proven otherwise.
Wait.
True,
Oh, yeah.
false.
False.
Why false? What happened to the presumption of innocence unless proven otherwise? Tinanong ako dun sa isang klase, Sir, are you a terror teacher? I've never been a terror teacher except during thesis defense.
Oh.
Bakit? Ganyan ako magtanong sa thesis defense. So hindi malaman mga estudyante, tama ba sagot namin? True or false? False. What happened to the presumption of innocence unless proven otherwise? The law on obligations and contracts provide the presumption. If the thing is lost within the possession of the debtor, it is presumed that it is at his fault unless he can prove otherwise. False. 4. Diba? Merong specific provision sa article. Loss of thing due. Diba? Oh, what else?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
If a thing is lost by fortuitous event, creditor can no longer run after any other person to ask for damages or recover what was lost. True, false.
False.
If the thing is lost by fortuitous event, creditor can no longer run after any
That's
other
true.
person to ask
Why is
for
it true?
damages
Why
or
is it true?
recover what was lost.
Any other?
Why true?
Ito.
Nawala na eh. Nawala na. So ano ba makukuha ko? Right? Right?
True.
Wrong.
Huh.
Last article, loss of thing due. Tingnan niyo yung last article ng loss of thing due. Ano sabi ng last article of loss of thing due? Sino may slide? Sino mga may slides? What was the last article of loss of the thing due?
Any other person.
Ha? Hindi, what does the article say? Article say, tama, insurance, tama yung ano mo, sinasabi mo insurance. But what does the article say?
I don't know where it is eh. Dali.
Creditor shall have all the rights of action against
against the third person. Very
true, false. False. Creditor can run after third person who may have caused the loss. Diba? What was our example here? Somebody promised to give you a specific phone. Diba? Somebody promised to give you a specific phone. Nung i-deliver sa iyo, ini-snatch, tinakbo, nahuli ng DO sa dulo ng LS. Can your friend say, loss of thing due? I'm no longer liable. Yes, loss of thing due. It was not under his control. Fortuitous event. Pero nandun pa yung phone. Oh, pero wala na akong obligasyon. Puntahan mo yung nagnakaw, kunin mo doon. Pero ako, tapos na ang obligasyon ko, loss of thing due eh. Nobody can be made responsible for something which is unforeseen or if foreseen is inevitable. Hindi nakawag ka eh. Kuha? So your obligation is extinguished. Ano ang rights ni creditor? Rights ni creditor, punta ka dun sa nagnakaw, kunin mo dun yung ninakaw sa diba? Kuha? Or, ang term na dun, insurance. Diba? O, edi sige, mag-claim ako dun sa insurance mo. Diba? Eh kasi nawala nga, punta ako insurance, amin na yung bayad dun sa claim niya.
So,
Kuha? Kuha? Oh, false.
insurance companies.
And false pala pa.
So yeah, basically you can still hold the one who stole it and because you gave your obligation.
Confusion occurs when parties cannot ascertain the nature of the obligation which extinguishes the obligation. Confusion occurs when the parties cannot ascertain the nature of the obligation which extinguishes the obligation. True, false? Ah, true, false?
Ano yung false?
False now. Actually, false.
Why false?
Definition. But the definition. That's all I can.
Confusion occurs when parties cannot ascertain the nature of the obligation which extinguishes the obligation. True, false? They're confused eh. Hindi nila alam kung ano yung obligation. Therefore, it extinguishes the obligation. Why false?
Based on definition.
Ito yung sasabi ko eh. You know the answer. You just don't know how to explain the answer. Yun ang masakit nun eh. Diba? So ang question, sir, is it okay to answer in our own words and deliver the message across? Yes. Provided you deliver the message across.
Bola.
Confusion occurs when parties cannot ascertain the nature of the obligation which extinguishes the obligation. False. It does
False,
not
'cause I
extinguish
feel
the
like it.
obligation. Parang mali yata yung explanation. Diba? It does not extinguish. Ha? Saan nang galing yun? Diba? False. This is not confusion. Period. Wrong.
Ay, di pwede.
Ikaw na, tama ang answer mong false. Mali explanation mo, mali answer mo.
True na.
Para mo sinabi, why are you getting married? Matanda na ako eh. Wrong answer.
Oh, ha?
But getting married is a good idea. But the reason behind it is wrong. Wrong answer. Diba? Ganun lang yun eh. Oh. Why do you want to get married? Because I'm old. Or why do you want to get married? Because I'm pregnant. Okay, please, ladies, do not get married because you got pregnant.
Dating face na?
In fact, okay,
Did
my
it fit
advice
the
to
child,
ladies, if you do get pregnant and the guy refuses to honor the child, huwag mo ilagay yung pangalan ng lalaki sa birth certificate. Do not place the name in the birth certificate of the father. Pag tinanong, sino ang father? Wala, narito ko, hindi ko kilala. Bakit? Pag nilagay mo ang pangalan ng tatay dun sa birth certificate, he gets a right to the property of the child.
What?
He gets a right to the property of
Single
the child. If anything happens to you, the child goes to the father. It does not go to the grandmother. Hence, ilagay mo, unknown. Father, unknown.
Pwede lang.
Ha?
Cannot cheat.
Sa tingin mo, bibigyan ka ng child support, eh, ayaw nga nang tanggapin na kanya yun.
Yung explanation.
I know, but kung ayaw niyang admitin na kanya, sa tingin mo, magbibigay ng support? Kahit na i-blood test. Kung ayaw niyang tanggapin, question, kahit may pagpipilit na doon sa iyo na ano kung ayaw, iwag. Marami akong kakilala, please don't have this as sad part. Mas maraming babae, single mother, who became more successful than the father who got them pregnant. Nung nakitang marami ng pera si babae, saka siya maghahabol. I am ready to accept.
I see. So we have to get
Kailangan sa akin pumunta sa akin.
And leave.
Diba? Okay? So, please, do not make that mistake. Okay, do not make that mistake. Oh, so, diba? So, ang third one is if your answer is wrong, if your true or false is correct, but your explanation is wrong, the answer is wrong. Diba? Make sure you deliver it across.
I
Example.
can feel it's right. But I
Ito,
just
confusion
don't
occurs
know how
when
to
cannot
explain.
ascertain.
Wala na. Wala na
If
siya yun. I'm
parties
gonna fail
cannot
na.
ascertain the nature of the obligation,
I just
then
feel it's
there is
wrong.
no obligation.
I just can't explain why.
Diba? If parties cannot ascertain
Actually, I just want to say like,
what the nature of the obligation is, there is no obligation and therefore has nothing to extinguish. One way of answering. Diba? Second way of answering. Confusion is when the principal debtor and the principal creditor is merged in the same person with respect to the same obligation. Diba? Or confusion is when a person becomes debtor and creditor in the same obligation.
oh, okay.
Nothing according to article. Confusion is where when you become debtor and creditor in the same obligation.
I know it's false
Confusion.
because read article in this one.
Oh, ha?
Bullshit.
Oh.
Good pwede.
Unless read article that you explain.
Wala, you know, when you don't know the actual.
Ito. Okay, nito.
GG na.
This is where I would have to tell you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Obligations and contracts is a question of English comprehension.
Wala na. Worst time to lose my reading comprehension.
Is English comprehension.
You can do it.
Okay? 1. Daniel owed James 50,000 for which he issued a check payable to the order of cash for James for the said amount.
I wish I
As it
knew
turned
one
out,
term.
James owed Mike an amount of 50,000 and to pay this amount to Mike, James gave Mike the check that Daniel gave him. Mike, on the other hand, owed Daniel 50,000 and seeing that the check that Mike was signed by Daniel, Mike gave the check to Daniel and called the obligation quits. Do you understand the problem?
No. No. Straight out, no. I got lost in the first sentence. Whatever.
Understand the problem? Yeah.
That's
Confusion. Why? I don't understand the question. Correct. Correct. That's the right way of doing it.
Huh?
You know, when you graduate, try to teach, even if only for 1 term. Try teaching. Why? Matatawa ka sa mga estudyante. Oh, how do you understand the problem? The drawing mo. Ganyan. Owes 50K to
James equals to
James. Oh, Mike. Diba? Mike owes Daniel. Right? Tama ang drawing?
so, wala na.
Diba?
Yan, tama na.
Daniel gave James check, pay to cash. James gave the check of Daniel to Mike. Diba? Mike then gave it to Daniel. Diba?
It's okay na.
Kuha. Kuha ang problem.
Yes,
See?
sir.
That's the story of the problem. Having understood the facts. First question. When Daniel issued to James the check in payment of the obligation, was Daniel's obligation extinguished?
Yeah. Saan yung check? Check pa eh.
the debtor becomes a creditor.
No. Why?
Huh? I know.
It was not yet in cash.
Na. Kasi, yeah, your first answer was correct.
Diba? It was not yet in cash. Oh, that is layman's term of how to answer the problem. Diba?
Sir, pwede na yun.
No.
Sir,
Check has not yet been in cash. Correct, full credit. Diba? What's the legal term? Payment by mercantile document does not produce the effect of payment until it is encashed. That's the legal. Kaya nga ang term doon is it sufficient? My own words, deliver the message. Yes. Diba? Check us not yet been encashed. Diba? Answer, false. Check us not yet been encashed. Pero kung in-answer mo sa akin dito, false. No encashment. Mali.
Huh? No encashment.
Hindi, no encashment. What about no encashment? Hindi, sinordkat mo. The check has not yet been encashed. Valid answer. Pag no encashment, ang alin? Hindi. Diba? Hindi. Okay? No cash. Where did the no cash come in? Diba, hindi mo alam ano nangyari. Make sure if you answer in your own words, you deliver the message across. Second question. When James gave the check to Mike, did Mike become Daniel's creditor and as such can extinguish the obligation he had with Daniel? By compensation, not but compensation. By compensation. When James gave the check to Mike, did Mike become Daniel's creditor and as such can extinguish the obligation he had with Daniel by compensation?
By?
B1.
Why
By.
not?
Take it out.
He has to speak it out?
Yeah, just to tell Daniel that I have your check.
Why yes? Your answer is yes. Why yes? Kita nyo, kaya ako terror sa thesis eh. Sa thesis defense. Bakit?
Mercy.
Masel ba talaga? Yes or no? Oh. Why yes?
Because
Oh. Go back to why no. Who says no?
no. I guess what? Because he basically was an informed thing.
Yeah, I have to inform.
So no. Because the transaction is between James and Mike. Hindi ko nga alam. Hindi ko maintindihan yung answer. Diba? When James gave the check to Mike, did Mike become creditor of Daniel and therefore can extinguish the obligation by compensation?
I think that's correct.
No. Why not?
You have to inform. Hindi look at us.
Nung binigay ni James ang cheque ni Daniel kay Mike, did Mike become creditor of Daniel?
Yeah.
Did Mike become creditor of Daniel?
Dapat
Person in possession of the debt.
debtor.
Payment to a person in possession of the evidence of the debt is valid if made in good faith. Right? Diba? Yes. Oh, therefore, is Mike now creditor of Daniel? Yes. Diba? Diba? Kasi nasa akin yung cheque. Sino ang babayaran? Ako, they are now creditor. Right? Oh. I'm now creditor. Nasa akin yung cheque. O ha? Question. Can Mike extinguish the debt by compensation? Yes, because I owe Daniel 50,000. He owes me 50,000. Do we still have to pay each other?
No.
Not if we don't want to. Diba? We can extinguish by compensation at that point in time. Kuha? Kuha? Yes, all requisites of compensation is present when the check reached the hands of Mike. Kuha? Bakit? They are both debtor and creditor of each other. They are entities of the same nature. Both are due and demandable. Both is not liquidated, and there is no retention on the same. Therefore, compensation can take place. Diba? Or in simple terms, all the requisites for compensation are present when Mike acquired the check. Tapos. Kuha? Kuha? Is that what happened? Hence the third question. Is Daniel's obligation extinguished by payment, confusion, or compensation? Was the obligation of Daniel extinguished by payment, confusion, or compensation?
I think compensation. It's confusion. I think it's compensation. There you go.
It cannot be, it can only be one. It cannot be two. Because when one happens, there's no longer any obligation. So there cannot be two. Oh, so what happened? Is it payment, confusion, or compensation?
Pay. Wait, payment.
Why? Confusion. Because at the end of the day, Daniel ended up in possession of the check that he issued. At the end of the day, he becomes both debtor and creditor with respect to the check that he issued.
Oh.
Confusion. And what about he called it quits? Diba? There was no compensation. Bakit he called it quits? Paano? Binayaran na kita eh. Eto, check mo ha, bayad na ako. Tapos. So how is it ano? Confusion. Take note ha, we are talking about Daniel's obligation, not the obligation of Mike.
Oh.
Kasi ang tinitignan nyo, obligasyon ni Mike. How was it extinguished? Hindi nyo ang tanong. Ang tanong is, was Daniel's obligation extinguished by payment, confusion, or compensation? Kuha? Kuha nyo?
Lahat na.
Oh, how was Mike's obligation extinguished? Confusion, compensation, payment. Agad siya. Bigla nung ka. Oh, what? If it was Mike, how was his obligation extinguished? Payment, confusion, compensation. Payment. I delivered a property in payment of my monetary obligation. Lasyon and pago. Diba? Lasyon and pago. Why? I delivered the check due to me to the one who issued it. Property, receivable, and transferred in payment of monetary obligation. So, ha? How could compensation have taken place if Mike not delivered to Daniel the check? How could he effect compensation? Mike would tell Daniel, Daniel, you owe me, you owe you 50,000. I have your check for 50,000. Oh, let's call it quits. Agree. Quits. Quits. Compensation. I renounce all my claim to you, you renounce all your claim with me, compensation. Diba? Eh ito, binigay niya yung check eh. That's yun and pago. Diba? That's yun and pago siya. Ha? That is why Daniel's obligation, as far as the check is concerned, is extinguished by conversion. Ha? Oh. Question. Diba? So, dito niyan, ginulo lang ang buhay.
Amen.
Ha? Bakit ito naging? Let's look at it this way. Let's change the check. It's not a check. Daniel said, I will pay 50,000 pesos to the holder of the winning ticket number. Ba? I will pay 50,000 pesos to the holder of the winning ticket number. Nagbulhan. Okay? So, napapunta sa inyo ang cheque. Yung winning ticket number. Right? Inilipat mo sa kanya. Sino na ngayon ang winning ticket number holder? Siya na. Diba? Pag inilipat niya sa akin, kung may utang ako sa kanya, yung 50,000, pero siya may utang sa akin ng 50,000. Ganito. Imbis na cheque ang binigay ni Daniel. Same transaction, ha? Daniel owes James 50,000 for the winning ticket number.
Okay.
James owed Mike 50,000 for whatever reason.
Okay.
Mike owes Daniel 50,000 for whatever reason. Except that Daniel has a winning ticket number evidencing this debt. Ha? So si James, sabi ni James kay Mike, Mike, hindi ako makakabayad sa'yo. Are you willing to accept this winning ticket number as payment? Mike will say, yes. So hawak na ni Mike ngayon ang winning ticket number. Is Mike creditor of Daniel? Yes, because Mike is now the holder of the winning ticket number.
Oh.
Diba? I can claim 50,000 from Daniel. Correct? But because I owe Daniel 50,000 pesos, I have two options. One, I can tell Daniel, Daniel, let's talk of compensation. Quits. Ready? Quits. Payag? Payag. Punit. Hindi na ako mag-claim. Kasi bayad na yung utang ko sa iyo. Compensation. They are both debtor and creditor of each other. Right? Or, Mike can go, I will surrender the ticket to you. Bahala. Wala na tayong bayaran. Ito ang pambayad ko sa utang ko sa iyo. Diba? In which case, he paid. Ha? So, ang tanong doon, at the point in time na hawak niya ang winning ticket number, is Daniel and Mike both debtor and creditor of each other? Yes. Can they set up compensation? Yes, if they wanted to. Ha? But Mike opted to pay by delivering the check to Daniel. Ha? Clear?
If
Diba?
return the check to the
Quits.
it's called
Or at the very least, condonation.
But if it
Diba?
didn't, it's called compensation.
Followed? That's one problem.
So if it's only in the last so
Mitzi
if
promised
never
to
give it
give-
back to the then it's compensation.
Richie promised to give Monmon 20,000
Okay.
next Wednesday.
Okay.
On
Your
due
bags will
date,
explode.
Mitch realized that Monmon needed and really wanted to get a new cell phone. But when she looked for Monmon, she discovered that Monmon had gone to Cebu and would be back in town only by Friday. So Michi decided to buy a 20,000 peso top-of-the-line cell phone and decided to give the phone as payment to Monmon. Okay? Kuha natin storya. Kuha niya storya. Sure kayo, kuha niya storya.
Wait lang.
Sure pa kaya niya.
Okay?
Bilbilan niya na lang okay.
Is Michi's obligation to Monmon extinguished by the son and pag? Why not?
Okay.
Bakit? Did Monmon
Michi
refuse?
promised to give.
Is Michi's obligation to Monmon extinguished by the son and pago? Why not? Because Michi cannot pay. Monmon is in Cebu. Diba? Nasa Cebu si Monmon eh. Paano siya magbabayad ng cellphone? Biyernes pa dating ni Monmon. So no payment could be made. Diba? No, because
No,
that was
di-
not what was agreed upon. Bakit?
No,
Wala
that's not
naman
what's agreed
sinabi
upon.
na nag-refuse si Monmon. Kita nyo? Correct answer, no. There was no payment. Why? Because Monmon did not agree to. Saan sinabi doon na hindi siya nag-agree? Diba? What's the correct answer? No. How can payment be made if Monmon is not present? Nasa Cebu eh. Venice padating. Kuha? Kuha? Is Michi's obligation extinguished by novation? Ignore. What's the difference between novation and payment? Is the obligation extinguished by novation? Requisite of novation. Creditor must agree. There is no indication Monmon ever agreed to the cellphone. Ha? Wala siyang sinabing nag-refuse, pero wala rin sinabing nag-agree. Di ba? So there seems to be no indication that he has accepted, that he agreed to the change in object. Therefore, there cannot be any innovation. Kuha? Yung payment is not because it is not the object or Monmon has not agreed, but rather, payment cannot be affected, the creditor is not there. Diba? The creditor is in Cebu. Oh. Number 3, is Michi's obligation extinguished?
No.
Why not?
Kasi wala si Monmon eh.
Papalit niya na.
Diba? The obligation has not been extinguished by any of the means that extinguishes an obligation. Tapos. Diba? There is no payment, there is no loss of the thing due, there is no compensation, there is no confusion, there is no condonation, there is no novation. Therefore, obligation is not yet extinguished. Kuha? Kuha? Ah, see? That's how the problem is. Diba? In fact,
More.
kung titignan nyo dito, the sad part about it, the way the question is asked, you're answering the wrong question. Make sure if you answer the question, you're answering the correct question. Not what you thought was asked.
Wala na.
Diba? Para yan yung, how do you pronounce S-I-L-K? How do you pronounce S-I-L-K?
When you know the answer.
Say it 5 times.
But yeah.
Oh, what do cows drink?
Water!
Yes!
For those people who was about to say milk. Oh. Milk ka ba? Milk yung sagot mo. Oh. See? That is how you normally do it. Or you normally say. Diba? How many 7 sacraments are there?
10.
How many 7 sacraments are there? There's only one. But there are 7 sacraments. How many sacraments are there? 7 times 7? Isa lang. Ano? Hindi makasal ng isis ko. Simply because, yan ang joke ko lagi sa klase. How many 7 sacraments are there? 7! One, 7. Nung ikakasal kami, sineminar kami ng pare, before you get married, you have to attend a seminar with the priest. Ano, sir? Oh, how many sacraments are there?
I don't know.
Sacraments. Sagot ako. 1! Sabi ko pare, 1? Ano ba yun? 7 of 7? Nakatingin sa presa ko, Father, you have to forgive her. That's my joke in class. Because I will ask how many 7 sacraments are there. And there should be, the answer is 1 set of 7. Bad joke.
Sorry, Jesus. Sorry, Jesus.
Ganon ang solving. It's more reading comprehension.
Tapos dito 1 eh. Then, sorry. Having 7 Ano eh?
No. There is no indication that no one
The wrong time.
Diba? There is no indication that
American
no
stream
one
multilingual.
No. See? Only one answer. Diba I'm telling you, obligations and contracts is easy. But take it from me. I took obligations and contracts in De La Salle University 3 times. Diba? I took it 3 times in La Salle. Diba? The first time I got 1.5, the second time I got 2.0, the third time I took it, I got 2.5.
See you next.
Next.
Why? Because I was an accounting student in De La Salle University at that time. Qualifying grade point average is 2.0 if you're taking it for the first time. If you're taking it for the second time, you have to, second time or more, you have to get a 2.5. The first time I took it, I got 1.5. Diba? The next time I got it, 2.0. Kapos pa rin. The third time I got it, I got 2.5. At that time, my teacher was saying, Mr. Manabat, ikaw na naman ang makikita ko. Sige na, na 2.5 mo. Umalis ka na sa klase ko.
Sure.
Next term, COBLAW 2, kami na naman magkasama. Ma'am, accountancy ako, kayo lang naman nagtuturo ng accounting class. Diba? My teacher was the terror teacher of De La Salle University. Virginia Diaz. She is so scary that during a lecture, nag-ano siya biglang, what is the answer? Pag-answer niya sa classmate, sabi niya, no! Nahulog ang pustiso. Lahat kami, bumaba siya, kinuha niya yung pustiso niya, pinunasan, sinuha ulit. Let's proceed! Yes. Walang tumatawa. Ganong ka-terror. But she became a good friend, a very good friend of mine. She became a very good friend of mine. After passing the CPA exams, going into law, we met again in St. Scholastica's College. I was teaching in St. School. Okay. When I was teaching in St. School, nakasalubok yan. Mr. Ma'am, what are you doing here? Ma'am, teaching. What subject? Oblicon, ma'am. What gave you the right to teach that subject? Ma'am, I took it 3 times under you, remember? Good answer. See? It's easy. It's not rocket science. It's just a question of being able to explain it in a way that has a legal basis. But you know what the answer is.
Legal
Looking for the
basis.
explanation is the issue. Yeah? Oh. Okay. Any other question? Oh. Any other question? Yan ang mayroon nang natuturo ka sa kandubag. Pag uwi mo yung mukha. Puno ng asphalt ang throat and lungs. Oh. Any other question? I don't know, I haven't made it yet.
Sir, what's our chances of passing?
I don't know, I haven't made it yet. Okay, please note midterms is on Thursday next week. Midterms is Thursday next week. Unlike TAF, we were able to catch up. But Kanlubang, my Kanlubang class, for the first time in my entire teaching career, I will not give midterms. Okay. I will give the students 4 long quizzes to make up 4 midterms. Take home quizzes.
Oh.
My God.
Oh. Take home midterms na lang.
Would you like take home exams? Sabi niya, wala pang pumapas sa take home exams ko.
Ayun.
Okay?
Take home midterms.
Kasi ang ginagawa ng mga estudyante pag take home, nagtatanong sa ibang tao. Pag nagtanong kayo sa ibang tao, ang answer na may ibibigay nyo sa akin, hindi yung itinuro ko sa inyo, kundi ko ano ang alam niya. Malalaman ko kung kayo sumagot o hindi. Yeah, that's a study guide. Okay, let me put it this way. Will there be enumeration?
Yes.
Yeah. That's enumeration. That's all the possible enumeration that can be asked in this series of slides.
Wait! That's like 100 plus of them already right now.
Diba? Enumeration and definition. What confuse you? I don't see any reason why you will fail.
Oh, really?
Hindi, sa akin, sa totoo lang, if you get everything right in the study guide, I don't think
Study, fair study.
you should fail.
As soon as we survive Wednesday.
No answer key. No answer key is how is this? Yun, kung pwede.
You have the
Okay?
copy paste. You have the slide.
Kasi nga, okay, this is the sad part about it. The study guide was given, I gave you all the questions. Okay? After the end of the slide, what did you do to the slide? Next slide. Diba? Did any of you bother to answer the study guide? Completely. Yun, tinapos ko. Tapos, ano ba answer dito? Ano ba answer dito? Ano ba answer dito? And nobody went back to ask me, Sir, according to your question number, ano, is this true or false? Wala. Wala nagtanong. Oh, sumagot ako? Hindi. Kasi hindi ko pa nakikita.
Well, us are gonna be like,
Okay, raise the question. Sabi ko naman sa inyo, ask questions. I will
I think like 200 plus worth of
I will
true
give
false
an
and
answer.
100 plus worth of information.
Diba?
My God.
Like now, today is review. Tanong ko, do you have any question? Wala eh. Parang apparently you understood everything.
What? What?
Did you?
Yeah, what?
Ang sagot sa akin nung kabilang klase, Sir, there are so many questions that we don't know what to ask. Oh, prepare. Check. What do you not understand? Diba kaya diba at the start of the class sinabi sa inyo, when I assign to you a topic, you study. If you have question, ask the question in your handouts. Then, if you're confused, tell me.
Confusion. I'm the debtor and the creditor, yo.
Oh,
Pucha term.
any other questions?
I start asking some old.
We still have one session within which to answer your questions. It's my turn now. I am now the one subjected to a recitation. Ask me, I will answer the question. But I cannot know what you do not know if you don't ask me.
Sir, read our minds now.
Ah. Any other question? Magkwentuhan na lang tayo dito. Most common mistake that I see in students, they answer the wrong questions. They answer the wrong question. Subrogation is an example of novation. False. Subrogation is when payment happens. Yeah, that's an example of novation. Subrogation happens when a third party pays with the express consent of. You're not answering the question, is it innovation? Answer is.
Oh, so yes, true.
Diba? Kung ha, don't answer the wrong question. Diba? Yung, remember
I
ito,
don't think so anymore.
So, pag-close.
when it was transferred to mine, is it a case of compensation? No, it's confusion. Why? He
I know.
delivered it to Daniel.
I think you're, and then you're,
That's
you
not
can
a
feel the
question.
pressure
Question
too.
is, when the check was in ice,
You're a
can there be
student here.
compensation? Answer, yes. But did he compensate? No, he paid. So, ha? Yun ang most common mistake that I've seen. In fact, the sad part about it, after the midterms, when we discussed the answers, kung nga sabi ko na yun ang answer. Tapos, na-overwhelmed ka. So, ha? That's the most common mistake. The second most common mistake is you made an assumption.
Payment compensation.
That's not in the problem. Diba? Hence, Monmon Michi, diba? Was there payment of the son in Pago? No, because Monmon did not agree. Saan nakalagay sa problem that Monmon did not agree? There was nothing in the obligation that says Monmon did not agree. Monmon cannot be compelled to accept a different object. O nga, pero saan sinabi na hindi siya nag-agree? Nagdagdag ka ng storya dun sa problem. Diba? Ano ang nasa storya? Can there be payment? No. Ganyan to, diba? Yan o, diba? Is it extinguished by the son and Pago? No, Monmon wasn't here. How can there be extinguishing by the son and Pago? Diba? Kasi ang assumption, ang sinabi, nasa Cebu. Babalik, Biyernes. Can there be payment? Monmon did not agree to that. Wala pa ba? Ang question, natanggap na ba niya? Buha? Oh, that's the second most common mistake. Well, of course, aside from the common mistake ko, sir, hindi ko talaga alam yung answer. Hindi ko talaga alam ang answer tapos. Okay? Oh. Any other question? Any other question?
Sir, sorry. What's the difference between payment, compensation, and confusion?
Payment, compensation, confusion. Let's go to 6 modes of payment. Para kompleto. Payment. When you perform the obligation, payment.
Okay.
When you perform the obligation, whether it is delivering money, giving an object, doing a service, not doing something. Diba? Kasi it's an obligation to give, to do, or not to do. Right? Payment is when you comply with your obligation. Okay? Loss of being due means specific object lost by fortuitous event. Not guilty of anything. Debtor not guilty of anything. Loss of being due. Diba? Oh. Condonation. Condonation with donation. Diba? As in, sir, I have to buy this item, but I forgot my money. O sige, ito, here. I gave you the 50 pesos. Question, do you have an obligation to me? You borrowed 50 pesos from me to buy a pen. Do you have an obligation to me?
Yes.
What's the obligation? Pay me back. You borrowed money. Kasi mo, sir, I have to pay you, no? Okay na yan. Forget it. 50 pesos na, babayaran pa ko. Sige na. Go. What happened? I gave you a donation. Diba? You're supposed to pay me. I told you, forget about it. Don't pay me anymore. Condonation. Diba? Compensation. Compensation. I owe you. You owe me. Do we still have to pay each other? No. Bakit? Pagbayad ko siya, bayad mo rin naman pabalik sa akin. What for? Diba? Confusion. I am debtor and creditor in the same obligation.
Okay. That's the one
Diba?
answer.
Remember I told you, you cannot owe yourself. Why? Because if you owe yourself something, it's automatically extinguished. You are both debtor and creditor in the same obligation. I promise to treat me out for spa. I promise to relax. Don't promise, just relax. You will. Because it's automatically extinguished.
I will.
Novation, I exchange one obligation with a new obligation. How? Either I change the object or the terms of the obligation, I substitute the person of the the debtor, or subrogate the person of the creditor.
Teach me, master.
Subrogation is when you step into the shoes of the creditor. Diba? You acquire all the rights of the creditor, even with respect to third persons such as guarantee, mortgage, or securities. Diba? Yun ang subrogation. Substitution, you only get the right of reimbursement provided it has been beneficial to the person. Diba? Pila, Perico. Perico, crush mo, Miss, ako magbabayad dun sa kanyang pagkain. I'll pay for her food. Diba? Girl says, oh, you paid for my food? Yes. Iniwanan niya, kumuha siya ng panibagong plate. Question, is he liable to you? No. Why? Hindi naman niya ginalaw yung pagkain na binayaran mo eh. She did not benefit. Why? You did not ask her consent. Diba? Ask permission. Would you allow me to pay for your food?
Oh.
But ikaw, if you like, pwede kita ilibre. If you like, liable na siya ngayon. Diba? Because you asked permission and she did not object. Okay? But if you did not ask her permission, you just presumed to pay her debt, she can leave behind whatever she chose as food and get another tray. In which case, she does not owe you anything. O ha? Substitution lang yun. Subrogation. Legal subrogation. Diba? When you pay the credit. Remember, si A, B, and C jointly and severally promises to pay X the sum of 90,000 subject to a collateral of ATV. Diba? Or a motorcycle. C, one of the solidary debtor, paid the obligation. Is C subrogated or substituted? Subrogated. Because according to the law, it's legal subrogation. Diba? That's legal subrogation.
I'm sorry. My mind is here for 1 second. I'm lost there.
Question, is he liable to himself for his share in the obligation? No, that's confusion eh. Di ba? Binayaran ko, ako na ulit ngayon ang debtor and creditor. Dun sa share ko. Pero sa share ni A at ni B, hindi, wala pang confusion yun. Bayaran niyo ako, I am creditor. Di ba? Kuha? Oh, subrogation. Wait. Any other question?
Ano po example ng mga guarantee?
Guarantor. Have you ever made a promissory note for De La Salle University?
Yes.
Diba magandang example na guarantor? Okay. Guarantor kasi usually happens in a contract of loan. Okay, a contract of loan. You wanna borrow. You wanna borrow money, creditor doesn't know you. You think he will loan you money? Sino ka? Bakit kita pautangin? Paano ka mapapautang? Paano ka makakautang?
Promissory note?
Kahit na mag-issue ka ng promissory note, sabihin niya, sino ka? Buti ba kung si Lucio-tan ka? Pumirma, I owe you, Lucio-tan. Bigay mo yan sa kahit anong bangko, bibigyan ka ng pera. Diba? Kasi si Lucio-tan siya. But more often than not, hindi ka kilala. So, paano ka makakautang? Diba? Okay. Paano kayo nakapasok ng Lasal? Did you pass DCAT?
Yes.
Walang record?
There.
Wala nagparikon?
Meron.
Diba? Oh, my son entered De La Salle University, legal management. Tanggap siya, he passed. He wanted accountancy. He was admitted legal management. Okay?
So, na-recon
Why?
siya.
Sabi ng DCAT, he is not psychologically fitted for accountancy. It's more legal management material. Okay kayo, ha? So what did I do? As faculty, I went up to brother, asking for letter for reconsideration. And I guarantee my son will do well in accountancy. Dahil kung bumagsak siya, ako na ang unang-unang magsasabi sa kanya, lumipat ka. Ganun. Diba? In your particular case, din yan. Yung check-in mong dala was folded nung pinambayad mo. Hindi yan tatanggapin ng lasal. Diba? Hindi tatanggapin na bayad ng lasal. Bakit? It is folded. Under the current rules of checks, it must not be folded, there must not be any erasure, and so on and so forth. So, your choice is, hindi ka makaka-enroll, or maghanap ka ng guarantor. Diba? Sasabihin mo, hindi pwede, kailangan ma-enroll ako. Ay, hindi na nga tatanggap-tanggap yan. So what do you do? Puntahan mo si treasurer. Pag sinabi ng treasurer, okay, fine, I guarantee. Babayaran niya. Diba? Kailangan bukas bumalik ka, bitan yung check. Diba? Kung hindi, ang pagbabayarin nila yung treasurer. Guarantor. Ha? At least that's the easiest way for you to understand. Because more often than not, the guarantee is complicated. Ha? Any other question? Question? We're good? We have another meeting in which you can ask question. My suggestion is go through the materials again. Put all the questions you need to be answered. Diba? That you need to ask me. You have 1.5 hours. That's about it. Okay? So, see each other Thursday.
Answer.